Here at DKLEVY, we are really invested in senior living. We do a lot of senior living housing design, and we just came back from an awesome conference in senior living. But with us being so intertwined in this industry, can you talk more about the new trends, kind of like what the future of senior living is kind of going to be, and how much demand it is for that housing type out there right now?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think it's on everybody's mind as we have loved ones, and we all just really see the need around us for great senior housing and really wanting to honor the greatest generation that has come before us. And so we really see it as a passion project more than anything, that we get the opportunity to design these buildings. And there's so many different flavors of senior living, whether it's anything from the aging in place kind of model or active adult, or a health event that leads to needing more specialized care. And so I think each aspect of the continuum has its own opportunities and challenges. But I think as a designer, we really look at it through the lens of where would we want to live? What kind of spaces and amenities would we want and would we thrive in? And I think creating those kind of options for seniors is really critical. And so looking at connection points, looking at amenity spaces, seeing how we can pull the outside community into those buildings is really, whether it's just the industry trending in general, is I think a positive one. And so that seniors don't feel so isolated.
That's true. And I mean, it sounds like too, what's going on now is there's a really big shortage of senior living housing out there right now. And I mean, can you speak more to that and kind of like what housing types that we could probably see more in the future here? And I know it largely depends on the acuity of the patient and the people that are living there, but if you can kind of like talk more about that.
Yeah, I think as people are looking for lifestyle changes, and you're looking at maybe downsizing in some ways, but upsizing in others. So you may be downsizing in your garage space and putting the lawnmower away, but you may be picking up pickleball or bocce ball or a performing arts aspect of things. So I think with senior living, you really, we still see that people want bigger units. 2-bedroom units are really popular. We've even seen projects where maybe a 1-bedroom isn't leasing as well, so they're opening it up to the community and having some younger folks move into that community and be a part of the senior living group, and positive interactions between the intergenerational models start to work. It's just neat to see all the creative amenities that are happening in these communities to keep dignity and again, the options that we all want. If you're a woodworker, you still want to be able to do woodworking wherever you go. So to provide those kind of wood shop experiences, maybe there's a wood turning, or if you're a musician and you like guitar, I know you play it all the time pretty loud. So, maybe there's a sound booth or a music studio at the Performing Arts Center and within the community. And
a really good insulation units. So
that's right. So I think, some of the things that we like to think about is what community are we going into and how can we make that an engaging community? So maybe we're next to a public park and we can have a really good ice cream shop or coffee shop inside of our building that the kids just want to come hang out. And maybe we'll put some turf areas outside the building next to that people want to be at. So we create spaces where people want to be, and those communities tend to thrive.
Well, and I think too, just from that, it's just important for us architects to kind of know on the front end how to help program these buildings. Can you talk more about our role in the design process and helping operators and clients to get the best facility for the housing type they're trying to provide, but also for the quality of life for the residents?
Yeah, it's a great question. I mean, I think as the designers working with the team, every project is so team focused, and we, in partnership with the developer and the operator and all the stakeholders, including the residents, we want to make sure it's successful. And so we see a lot of opportunity when we lay out a space, especially with dining options, right? Like, you may create what is initially a really cool concept, but it requires 5 more full-time employees to run, and it becomes impractical. So we have to look at in the design, how can we start merging and blurring the lines between different spaces and have a lot of overlap there, so that then they're functional to operate, beautiful spaces that people want to enjoy and hang out in. And again, it kind of goes back to the variety. Just having one big open kind of bowling alley dining room is not where you and I want to go every day. Some days we want a quiet coffee shop. Some days we want to have a little bit of a bistro experience, and then other times the fine dining.
Well, and in addition to that, I think about too, not just the spaces themselves, catering to just, the residents or the family members, but like how these facilities can actually help meet the needs of the people living there, the people that are the family members of those people living there, and also of the staff, and how that kind of is starting to look like more of a trend in order to like blur the lines there a little bit. So maybe staff can use some of the facilities that would make them want to be there and not feel as if, it's just a job. Like they actually enjoy being there and being with the residents. And the same thing with like family members, like how important it is for them to feel comfortable.
Yeah. I mean, I think the staff in these communities are incredible, and they really are the hands and feet that go out and love on our residents. And so it's something that we want to think about as designers, is what spaces are we creating for the staff? And sometimes it is a quiet garden space or a courtyard that they need just to kind of recharge, and other times it's highly interactive, like a fitness experience where they can have a membership to it and a pool and, be able to enjoy it. It's a delicate balance, because I think there's so much energy and effort that goes into caregiving that I can't even pretend to know what goes into it, but sometimes they just need a little bit of a break from that. And so I think as we think about our buildings, the staff lounges and those kind of places of retreat are important to get designed into the building as well.
One, just from that conference that we were just at, I think it's also really cool how they were catering to the family members of the residents a lot too, and helping them build a community together instead of just being singularly focused. And I think that was really important, where, family members were, in the garden with the residents that live there, their loved one, and they're spending a lot of time there versus just a little time and feeling more obligated.
Again, that gets back a little bit back to the bringing the outside in and creating those amenities, but also those breakout places where you could have a small party or a dining experience or recreation or a cool movie room, or something that the grandkids get excited about. What would it be like if the grandkids were asking, can we go see grandma today, or something like that? So yeah, those are the things that we really want to make sure that we have opportunity to design into the spaces.
So Daniel, what kind of questions should developers be asking architects that they maybe don't think about as much?
Well, I think with any project being successful from the get-go, you have to have alignment with your architect and owner and team, operations team. And I think it's important to know, like, where are we headed with this project? What are the overarching goals, and what kind of care are we providing, and what needs are we going to be meeting? So right now in the industry, we've all heard about the silver wave that's coming, and just all the amount of seniors that are coming into an age where they need this level of care. And, there's different challenges than 10 years ago when, it could be financial reasons and affordability, higher levels of care that is needed. And so I think it's important to know, with the different flavors of senior living, what market are we trying to capture, and how can we do that to the best of our abilities? And so I think a lot of times, someone will come to us and say, I want a senior living building, I want to get it licensed, but maybe I'll do dementia care. That building's going to be open in 3 or 4 years from when we get started, but how's that building going to be 10, 15 years from now? What are the goals that this community will achieve at the end? And so I think a lot of times it can be short-sighted in how we think about projects. But yeah, I think as far as questions that, they would want to ask us, or that we would want to ask them, is just how can we align with the goals that you have?
Daniel, have you ever had residents' feedback after the fact that maybe changed the way you looked at designing senior living in the future?
some of the most powerful feedback or experiences that we can hear about is how our buildings are being used, and it either matches some of the intent or maybe it's being used in a more creative way than we even envisioned. And when we go spend time in some of our existing buildings, we see those opportunities, it wants to emulate or wants to improve on. So we have gotten very positive experiential reports from connections to nature. When we bring those moments of whether it's a courtyard space or a private balcony, or really just providing those view corridors, most of our residents want to be connected to nature, have the ability to go outside and experience that and not lose that freedom. And so that's been probably one of the better feedbacks that we've gotten, is those opportunities. I mean, we really see that as part of our mandate, connecting people to the things that God has made. And so that them having that opportunity to see the sunset, experience the breezes, see the beauty of creation is really impactful in how we approach design. And so we're always going to be fighting to add more windows and to add more opportunities for those garden spaces. And we love getting feedback that people are enjoying them.
Well, I know that at DKLEVY too, y'all have designed many facilities that have memory care as well. Have you designed any facilities that produced even better outcomes to where people actually get better and no longer actually have to be at these facilities? That's
obviously some of the best feedback we can get. We have a community in Southern Tennessee that we've gotten great feedback and testimonials about improved health outcomes. And that particular community was a neighborhood type community with small intimate care settings, very family-like atmosphere, much like you'd have in your own home, surrounded by friends. But also it had that key component at the heart of that building design was the healing garden, the prayer garden. And it was a place you could go hear the birds, sit on a bench in the shade and have opportunities to experience, again, God's creation. And it was cool to hear that there was a resident there that actually had a better health outcome than when they went in and they were able to go.
And just thinking about that in general, and like different community types, that's where, a developer asking you a question like, what, if I want to have a senior living community, what type of building should I do? Can you speak to kind of that a little bit more, and just how important your role is to help determine that, whether it's looking at just the historical aspect of this is what has been working, or like this is some new designs or science in a way to moving to more of that neighborhood a model type, and just how your experience goes along with that.
Yeah, we certainly don't want to say that we've got it all figured out or there's a set way for every project. So it's a team approach on every project. We look at market studies, demographics, and the demands and needs of the community that we're going to look in, and then we try and find opportunities to, again, through the lens of honoring our seniors and providing those experiences that maybe the community is lacking. And then we bring it all together. And so if there's a need for dementia care, and maybe there's a need for other villa type product, or there's a need for multifamily or even some services, we'll look at providing more of a campus model if the site allows. So there's so many different lenses that we look through, whether it's the zoning and planning lens or the demographics of a community and an affordability lens, or it could be just a need that is unmet in that particular community. So again, it's a lot of people coming together, a lot of information coming together, and then it's through the lens of experience that we deliver a great product for our clients and residents.
Well, Daniel, it is evident that DKLEVY is very passionate about senior living and helping the community and clients.
We love it, and that we've done over 150 projects in 16 different states and thousands of units. But each day, it's motivating to be challenged by how can we do this better. We're constantly learning, constantly improving, and with the motivation of honoring our seniors. So we are excited about it each day.